Welcome to a special edition of Beatin' and Bangin'. I'm your host, Kyle Dalton. This episode features Ryan Blaney and his wife Gianna and their visit to Austin yesterday, where the newlyweds ate at a couple of Austin hotspots, Cuantos Tacos and Terry Black's Barbecue, and stopped to get a pair of custom branded boots in between. In this video, you'll see three separate interviews with Blaney. First, I was there with the local media and captured what he told them about the upcoming race at Circuit of the Americas and his feelings about the city of Austin. Second is my own interview with Ryan, where we talked about a variety of topics, including Ty Gibbs' temper, his future in podcasting, the driver ambassador program, which he offered some really interesting answers, as well as how he's working on getting more celebrities involved with the sport. And the episode wraps up with my viewer-submitted question from Patrick McBee2875, which was, if you weren't a race car driver, what would you be doing? His and Gianna's answer will make you laugh. And now it's time for the first two interviews, starting with the local media.
How exciting is it to be back here in Austin and just, coming out here and just getting to go around and tasting Austin?
Yeah, well, it's nice to be back. I look forward to coming down here every year. I love the area around the racetrack. I love the Austin area. It really just has everything that you could ever want. A great food scene, a good comedy scene, a good bar scene, great restaurants, and it was great to come out and check out, Cuantos Tacos today. Unbelievable. I think it's one in my book for any type of street tacos in general. So I just love being in the town, and it makes me excited to get back here, at the end of February.
How much fun is that, though, being able to explore the town a little bit and spend some time, here like in Austin?
Yeah, we get to travel the country, going around racing and stuff, but not all the time we get to kind of venture out, on the race weekend, because we're there to do a job, and there's a lot of meetings and things we do, so I don't leave the tracks much. So it's nice that I can come down here and, a few weeks before the race and just kind of browse around, and see the local spots, right? What's the good places and what do you recommend? And so this was a nice break of actually I can really see the whole town and city that the racetrack is based out of, and that part's cool to me because I don't get to do it very often.
Will that make it hard next when you come back for race week and not being able to get away much and come try all
I'm gonna find some time to come back here and have some more tacos again, because this was hard to pass up, and there's no way I'm not coming back down here on race weekend. I'm gonna find some time. So it does make it hard though if we're getting busy and you can't sometimes do what you want to do outside the racetrack. But I'm gonna make time to come back here.
What do we expect this year from you? Another good year for you?
Hope so. Hopefully we have another shot to run for a championship, and it's been the last good couple years. With winning it in 23, having a great shot in 24 to do it, just coming up short. You just try to keep building on that. Like, how do you continue to get better with your group and your team and run better each week and just become more of a kind of a functioning unit together, right? So that's all I've ever asked of my guys is, like, just try to improve your skills every week, and bring the best that you got each and every day and weekend, and we've been doing that, and hopefully we continue to do that.
How much fun is it, Circuit of the Americas track for you guys? The road course?
Yeah, it's the first road course we go to of the year, and it's early, right? I mean, it's our third race of the year, and the track's changed up a little bit. We shortened it, doing the cut through there right after the S's, so that'll be a little bit of a change for us that we'll figure out quickly at the race weekend. I love it. I was psyched. I think the first year we came here was 21, and it's been great. I've been really happy that we've come here every year since. Fans here are great. I just talked about all the area around it. It's phenomenal. Tons of stuff to do, in Austin and at the racetrack on the race weekend, and puts on a really good show too. So I'm happy we decided to come here a handful of years ago, and I hope we continue to come here for a long time.
So Joey talked about the winner's journal.
Yeah.
And how he said, enjoy it in the previous message to you because this will be the last one you got.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And then he said, he was on serious and said, I had to put ha in there because I didn't want him to think I was a douchebag. Did you ever talk to him about that?
Oh yeah. The journal, was something really cool to get for the year. I think it's been around for a while, and just kind of read everyone's notes in there was special to me. Joey had to write me after his championship in 22. And yeah, he said that. I knew he was joking. But then I had to write him, right? And when he won it in 24, and I put my own little spin on it at the end of it, kind of what he said to me. So, yeah, I hope to get it back from him and see what he writes here in 25. So we'll see.
Well, I was talking with Bob Honkers last week. He was on my channel, and I said, do we just not even worry about Fords this year if they don't win the first dozen races, because they've done it for the last 2, and look what they've done. So,
yeah, I mean, it's not like we plan on doing that, right? We want to win every week, and but I think the biggest thing that I look at, like with the last few years, is maybe we don't get started off the best that we want to be, and we're a little behind, but we get to where we want to be, and that's the way that motorsports is. That's the way sports are, right? Like, you can fire off hot and cool off, or you can get better through the year, and it's just kind of, that's the way it's gone. And I'd rather be that way, right, than kind of cool off through the year. So I think it just shows determination of this group of, even if you're not where you want to be early, we're going to get there. And but yeah, I mean, I'd obviously like to be like that all year, but it's the waves of this sport, it's ups and downs, and it's just about being on the up part, at the right time.
So driving down here, I was listening to Sirius, and Larry Mack said, I'm not giving a hall pass for Ty Gibbs. He said, you shouldn't be doing that stuff. I mean, he's 22. He said his mom, Heather, and Joe need to talk to him, because NASCAR can do so much as they want, penalize him or whatever, but it's happened in Xfinity, it happened on the pit road when he was driving the 45 at Texas. Do you feel like there's anybody can talk to him, like a driver, like, not take it, like Danny would possibly, but I'm curious what you think when you see that, because he's not the first guy that's gone through that. He won't be the last. But what kind of advice could you give to that?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm not the one to right, like, give advice, right? Like, if you, I'm not going to ever tell anybody what to do unless you seek out, like, hey, your thoughts. I'm just not that type of person. But he's young, right? I mean, we're all young, and we all have our moments, right? And I think he's a great race car driver. I just think that little growing age is what he's in right now, and he's going to grow out of it, and he's going to be great. He already is. It's just those couple little moments that he has to handle a little better, and I think that's going to come with time.
You were on BBC.
I was, yeah.
And I just started thinking back. I mean, was it Glass Case?
Glass Case, yeah.
So, I mean, do you ever think, because you clearly look like you were a natural with Tommy and Freddie, do you feel like this is, could you ever rekindle a podcast? Do you ever see that happening?
No, I personally don't think so. Glass Case was a blast, for the 3-4 years we did it. People really liked it. It was hard to see it go, but it just kind of got to that point where it was getting tough for me, Kim, and Chuck to kind of get everything going, but I enjoy doing guest spots. I think that's kind of where I want to live, just doing guest things on whether it's DBC. I love going on Dale's show. I had a blast with Freddie and Carson and Tommy, but I just don't see me doing that every week, so rare appearances I think makes it even more special, and it makes me really want to open up. In those times I do them, a handful of times a year.
So have you called Reaction Theater and left a voicemail yet?
Not yet. I'm waiting. I can't do it too soon, because then they might know it's me, so I'm going to do it through the year sporadically and see if they can catch me or not.
Talk to me about the driver ambassador program, because I saw someone talking about Chase has been out a lot here lately, and must be the driver incentives. I'm like, I don't need details, but just tell me kind of what it is and how it works for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, essentially what that deal is, I guess, for example, as before, of, hey, can you do this favor for us and go promote this race and things like that, or go do these radio shows and that, and it's sometimes it wouldn't work into our schedule, or maybe you're like, no, I don't really want to do that. The best way I could put it is if your boss came to you and say, hey, can you work overtime? We're not going to pay you for overtime, though, but go do it out of good faith. You'd have kind of some, reservations about it. But if your boss is like, hey, we're going to give you overtime, you go work overtime, you're like, well, yeah, I'll take it, right? So I think that's the best way I've tried to kind of compare the two. But I think it's good. I think you're going to see a lot of guys. Chase is a great example of going out and doing 10 times more stuff than what we would do, and this is everybody, than what we normally do, just because there's a little, right, you're getting some extra dough to do it, right? And I think that's right. If you're doing work, extra work, you should be compensated for it. And, you know, I think I was happy with where it got, and I think you're going to see the sport get healthier as well from it, because you're going to have the whole field want to do all this stuff.
Yeah, well, the growing of the sport, and I can't help but think about you spending New Year's Eve with Sydney Sweeney and giving her a ride around. She's a big celebrity. So what can NASCAR do to connect with more big celebrities that show this is a kick-ass sport and I want to be a part of it and come to the races and be a Sydney Sweeney? Because I hear she's a gearhead. Is that...
Yeah, she is. Yeah, it was it was a lot of fun to give her her fiance laps around Charlotte in December. That was fantastic, and they had a blast, and I think the best way we can do it is try to put other athletes, celebs, musicians in our sport, right? Like, how do you put them, because this motorsports is tough, because it's not like a stick and ball sport where you can go to the park and go play it and you have somewhat of an idea. Like, motorsports is tough. You need a vehicle and you need a track and stuff like that. So however we can do this, and show, hey, this is how intense it is. It's not only what you see on TV of just people think it's just going in circles, but there's a lot more behind it, and the intensity of speed, the roughness of these cars, of how much it takes out of the person of driving these things. And this is only for 10 laps, we're going 500 miles, so I think just making them aware of and giving them the experience of like, oh wow, this is way different than what I thought. I wouldn't know what it'd be like to, step in the batter's box and try to hit a 100-mile-an-hour pitch. I have no idea, but I would have a huge different idea behind it if I ever did it. So that's just what it is. It's like you have to show them the experience, and then they have a much different opinion of it.
So it gets me to thinking, is there a way that we could have like SMI or get a celebrity ambassador program where they're coming to do ride-arounds at Charlotte whenever they're in town?
Yeah, there's always ideas being tossed out. I've tried to have these ideas, through the years of like, how do we do this? And so those things are in the works. There's been discussions about it. I've been a big part of them, and we'll see where it goes.
Okay. The sport is definitely increasing in popularity. I mean, you sense that.
Mm-hmm.
But social media, a lot of folks will tell you otherwise. And I heard your comments this last weekend, and I talked about it on my channel, my Monday Recap. And people were like, what is Ryan talking about? I'm like, okay. Why is there such a Debbie Downer doomsday? Because it feels like there's so much good going on with the sport, and there's this very vocal minority, I think is what I would describe it.
I think that's a good way to describe it. I mean, it baffles me, the same way. Like, you look on social media and everything you see is just negativity about it. And people hate this, they hate that. This is, NASCAR's dying, NASCAR's this. And I'm sitting here like, what are you talking about? Like, the sport is at a really healthy state right now. It's growing like crazy. It's growing more than I've ever seen it grow. And I grew up around it, and the things that NASCAR is doing, from going to these new tracks and different venues and getting out of their comfort zone, like, I really don't understand why people think it's awful, or like all these ideas are bad. Like, not every idea is going to be a home run, but everything these people think is just terrible, and I don't get that. I really don't understand. So I think it's just social media. I think social media is just that way of you're going to have just people who are always negative, and that's just the way it is, and I try to overlook it, but it is kind of getting wild to me of how much of it is out there, because that's not true. And I guarantee you 90% of those folks who say that stuff don't go to the races. They have no idea what's going on. They just like to complain.
Last question. How has AI affected your world? Do you use it in any way?
Oh, not at all for me. I don't use it in anything. It might be used in other areas that I don't know.
I'm guessing your race team uses it, because I heard Ryan Sparks the other day saying that they use it at Spire.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was shocked.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe there's some things I don't know about, but as far as I know, I stay away from it. That stuff's too high-tech for me.
59.
So yeah, I'm not sure.
And you cannot make this stuff up. As you heard, my last question to Ryan was about AI, and he said he hadn't ever used it. And then at our next stop at Tecovas for Boots, he was asked to try on a pair of Meta AI glasses. What exactly are they? They are glasses that can record what you're looking at as well as do everything from learn the history of a landmark, translate a sign, or get recipes based on what's in your fridge. Where's Waldo, anyone? After Ryan and Gianna got their branded boots, we headed to our final stop of the day and a favorite Austin eatery, Terry Black's Barbecue. When the Blaneys finished eating their food, I sat down to ask them the fan-submitted question about what he would be doing if he wasn't racing.
Is, if you weren't a race car driver, what would you do?
I get that question a lot, and that's a tricky answer, and I never know how to answer it because like I grew up into a racing family, so like I never did anything else. I mean, I played other sports, but I didn't love them like I did racing. I mean, the only job I've ever had was sweeping dad's shop floors and driving race cars. Like that's the only jobs I've ever had to make income. So I really have no idea. I don't know what I would have done if I didn't want to race. I would have figured it out, but I really have no clue because I've done it for so long.
I think music. You'd go into music. He's a really good singer. People don't know that, but I can see you doing music.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sing anything for you though.
I was about to say, come on, Ryan.
Nope. That's only after about 7 or 8 more beers. Yeah.
Karaoke night.
Yeah, karaoke.
Looks like I need to figure out the Blaneys' next karaoke night. All right, guys, thanks for checking out this special episode of the Blaneys and their visit to Austin. Let me know what you thought about what he had to say. And as always, thanks for supporting the channel, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.